Hi, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a film that has garnered the status of a cult film over the years. Parinda came out in 1998. Our nation was just 35 years old. And this was the kind of storytelling we were doing. I couldn't help but feel a little disheartened looking at the state of films being made now. I mean, when did we as a society move away from telling stories that are human, real, and raw to telling stories that are premeditated, fabricated, and sometimes a see through propaganda? But khair, barbadiyon ka shok kya manana? I'm just glad that I am living in this age of the internet where I got to consume this masterpiece um, made by Vidhu Vinod Chopra, sitting here in New Delhi of 2025, experiencing the Bombay of late 90s. The film has been written, directed, and produced by Vidhu Vinod Chopra, as I mentioned. It stars Jackie Shroff, Anil Kapoor, Nana Patekar, and Madhuri Dixit in major roles. You will notice that my review has absolutely no mention of Madhuri Dixit or her character because I thought that it was unnecessary for the plot, but apparently Bollywood cannot sell anything without cheesy romance, so they decided to roll with it, I guess. Apart from this bit, I actually loved everything about the film. Maybe the music also wasn't remarkable, but I actually loved the film. So I'm just excited to talk about it. Let's get started. Do you struggle with defining the rights and the wrongs of your life? And does something that is right to you automatically becomes the right thing to do? Is it possible for right to be wrong? And can sometimes being not right the only thing left to turn to? Important questions, and perhaps the best feature of Parinda because it asks these questions of the audience at every turn. The story begins in old world Bombay, a city bustling with charm. And I'm glad to report from 2025 that that hasn't changed much. But man, would I give an arm and a leg to experience this Bombay, this world that Vidhu Vinod Chopra has built. At its heart, Parinda is a story of two brothers going on this journey, actually separate journeys, hoping to meet at the end, but life gets in the way. The film starts with shots from all over Bombay and then an 18-second long shot of Anna's house. Anna is the antagonist of the film, played by Nana Patekar. It sort of, the film sort of establishes itself as a slow burn right from the start. The first interaction that we have with Anna happens here. We catch him in a tender moment, a father looking at a photo of his daughter, followed by a gruesome murder in a coconut oil factory, which I think is a perfect backdrop for a gangster's hideout situation. Because, like, much in this scene, for example, there is a body being buried in this huge trunk filled with coconut shells, and it's been picturized so well. Um, the parallel between the oil dripping from the machines and the blood dripping from the bodies, shells cracking here, bones cracking there. It is quite fun to watch. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Where are we? I'm sorry, I've lost the. Yeah, here we are. We are introduced to Anna's squad while he gets ambushed by Prakash, a policeman played by Anupam Kher, and his fellow officers. This is where you get the taste of who Anna really is. He is definitely a no nonsense person. He means what he says and he says what he means. And he does not mean well. He is authoritative and bossy and yet has this everyday man charm to his personality. But make no mistake, he is the boss of this world. He's very serious about his business, and when it comes to business, he does not tolerate lies. Remember this, he doesn't appreciate being lied to at all. Anna is nothing if not an ethically unethical businessman. Anna is unhinged. I am very proud of that joke. When Abdul, Anna's sidekick, tries to fight with his fellow tries to fight with the cop, Prakash. Anna very nonchalantly says, रहने दे अब्दुल, कहीं तो हिंदुस्तान जिंदा है, उसकी इज्जत कर. I want to take a moment here to raise a question to you, my viewers or my listeners. Do you think that the portrayal of police, very much like here, has always been that of a savior, a protector, a conduit of justice, so to say, in our films, while the reality might be very different? I ask this question because recently a film in India got banned because it showcased police brutality. I think police brutality continues to be one of these issues that is much known of but not much talked about. I wonder why that is. Please share your thoughts. Coming back to the story, we get introduced to the hero of the film, Kishan, played by the effortless Jackie Shroff. Kishan is Anna's lapdog, or his most loyal soldier, whatever way you look at it. Kishan means business. He has the power, the might to execute anything for Anna, or anyone for Anna. He has just one little soft spot, and that is reserved for Karan, his younger brother. Kishan can be seen as the carrier of the story. He is perhaps the person you would cheer on for the most, because even though he's a criminal, he is also a very loving older brother. And you can't help but empathize with him because perhaps he turned to crime to save his younger brother from meeting the same fate. The story of how Kishan becomes Kishan and Prakash becomes Prakash goes back to their childhood, when Kishan, his brother Karan, and Prakash and his sister Paro, played by Madhuri Dixit, lived on the streets of Bombay as kids. And they sang songs about how they will win the world with their simplicity. But I guess on the streets, the rules of the survival are a little different from the rest of the world. Back to current 1998. As the story progresses, Prakash takes every possible measure to take Anna down, and the screenplay here is rich with a lot of cat and mouse chases between the cops and the goons. One particular scene I would like to talk about here is when Kishan drives one of the cops out of the city to the periphery where there is no human in sight, and you think, oh wow, these two people are going to finally engage in conflict and he'll just kill him or whatever. But it is just a corrupt cop who is giving some, warning Kishan in advance of Prakash's plans. So it's a nice misdirection that happens. Anyway, the cop sells a piece of information for money at the cost of his soul. Moving on. Kishan stands at the edge of the ocean, both literally and figuratively, ocean of consequences of what might occur should he choose to accept Anna's demands and compromise the character and the life of his younger brother Karan. That brings us to the part of the story where Karan makes an entry, played by Anil Kapoor. He is so over-enthusiastic for no reason. First half of the film, his performance is shit, I think. He's too loud. I get it, you've come from America, after 7 years, you're excited about Bhel Puri, but calm the fuck down. And constantly, your elder brother is trying to tell you that there's something wrong, don't step out of the house. But no, you had to step out of the house to meet Prakash because you love Paro. And yeah, Anna gets the whiff of it and tragedy strikes. 1, 2, 3. Shots fired in a heartbeat, thus rendering the heart beatless. Cut to Anna's residence, where he is performing the barsi of his wife and daughter's death. How tragic. But does being subjected to tragedy give you a free pass to subject others to tragedy? I think not. I think we must rise above the injustice that happens to us, that we face, and continue to, be a catalyst for justice everywhere. I think. At least when you can be, you must. Anna is reminded of his demons, his turmoils, these visions in his head. His mind is scorching as the memories of something so brutal catch fire. And he loses it. He completely loses his mind. It is so brilliantly played by Nana Patekar. I think Anna, the character of Anna, is perhaps one of the most deliciously flawed characters ever written in Hindi cinema. The screenplay is riddled with a lot of confrontation scenes between the two brothers because obviously they stand on two different sides of the same issue. And here we see another scene where Karan is no longer blindsided by Kishan's lies that he has painted over the years. And Kishan also sort of gives in and he's like, yes, I am this corrupt, evil man, whatever. But all this I did so that you could have the life that you have. Karan struggles with duality, balancing doing what's right for the society and protecting his brother, reflecting the common inner conflict that we also sometimes face where, our personal interests sometimes get in the way of the greater good. In another confrontation scene that takes place in the ocean, on a boat, it becomes clear that Karan stands with justice and not with Kishan. At the end of this voyage lies vengeance. As the old one teaches the new one the ways of the sea by handing him a gun and a piece of advice to go with it, that use it only when the time comes. But who decides that the time is right to shoot someone? Karan and Kishan are attacked by Anna's men in order to silence Karan from speaking to the police. And they get what they want because the policemen, the doctors, nurses, everyone is at the mercy of the puppeteer. The one who holds the cash, holds the strings, and also holds the cards. Once more, Kishan and Karan are together. We see a recovering Kishan lying on the bed, remembering the beginning of all the pain in their life. They are not alone as Anna's men hunt them down. This is the moment where Karan has no choice but to pick up the gun, the very gun that he could have sworn he would never use when Kishan was giving it to him. This is where the story takes a turn. Karan realizes that there is only one way to bring Anna down and avenge his friend's death. And he decides to join the establishment and damage it from within. Go Karan, I'm on your side. Before I tell you what happens next, I want to take a moment to appreciate the dialogue of the film, the dialogue writing, the dialogues of the film. I think each interaction between any two characters is crafted with so much care. The spoken dialogues are written with as much attention to detail as the unspoken dialogue, keeping in mind the nuances of human behavior and the naturalistic tendencies that we have of reacting in a certain manner during tense moments. For instance, the scene where Francis, one of Anna's men who fired one of those 3 shots, the noise of which doesn't let Karan sleep at night, and Karan, they're waiting for Musa, a rival gangster, at a restaurant. So they decide to get a beer. The loud noises of the bottles being opened, superimposed with the loudness of the gunshots that Karan is haunted by. The sound of beer flowing into the glass, resembling the noise of hundreds of pigeons flapping their wings after those gunshots were fired, making Karan relive his worst experience all over again. PTSD done right. What a scene. Karan has done what he has always dreamt of doing. But revenge doesn't feel as good as he might have hoped for. The path Karan goes down on might not be the most virtuous one, but man oh man, it is undeniably compelling to watch. The thing is, witnessing an innocent man lose his innocence in the face of evil offers a raw glimpse into our most primal human instincts. Karan did not get justice, so he decided to become justice himself. Now that those who deserve to die are dead, may we go to sleep knowing all is well in the world? No. The way of the world, at least this world, is Anna's way. The world would stop spinning if Anna loses. it will be tipped off its balance. So we see Anna in his full glory, being ruthless because he does not appreciate being lied to. अन्ना के पिंजरे से इंसान या परिंदा दोनों नहीं बच सकते. Anna sits Kishan down and tells him कि धंधे में कोई किसी का भाई नहीं होता, बाप नहीं होता. Which loosely translates to, in business there is no brotherhood, or rather in business there is just business. I'm going to take a little moment here to talk about something one of my favorite philosophers has said about business. You saw this coming, right? There's a reason why this channel is called Cine Philosopher. Anyway, this is an excerpt from Henry David Thoreau's essay titled Life Without Principle. This world is a place of business. What an infinite bustle. I am awaked almost every night by the panting of the locomotive. It interrupts my dreams. There is no Sabbath. It would be glorious to see mankind at leisure for once. It is nothing but work, work, work. I cannot easily buy a blank book to write thoughts in. They are commonly ruled for dollars and cents. An Irishman, seeing me making a minute in the fields, took it for granted that I was calculating my wages. If a man was tossed out of a window when an infant, and so made a cripple for life, or seared out of his wits by the Indians, it is regretted chiefly because he was thus incapacitated for business. I think that there is nothing, not even crime, more opposed to poetry, to philosophy, to life itself, than this incessant business. Brilliantly written, I think. That brings us to the end scene of this movie, one of the most beautiful endings I've seen, especially in Hindi films. Anna is surrounded by a sea of flames, haunted by these visions of his past. They drive him mad, completely mad, until he is engulfed by these flames. When you see Kishan in the end scene, throwing his gun in the air, you feel the slight sliver of relief that it wasn't all for nothing. Before I say goodbye, I want to leave you with this. It is from this book by Hannah Arendt. I'm sorry if I mispronounce the name. She's dead, I'm sure she's not taking offense. The Origins of Totalitarianism. I must have butchered that name, pronunciation of that word also. It's a big word. Anyway, she talks about what comprehension means. And I think it's something beautiful. Comprehension does not mean denying the outrageous, deducing the unprecedented from precedents, or explaining phenomena by such analogies and generalities that the impact of reality and the shock of experience are no longer felt. It means, rather, examining and bearing consciously the burden that our century has placed on us, neither denying its existence nor submitting meekly to its weight. Comprehension, in short, means the unpremeditated, attentive facing up to and resisting of reality, whatever it may be or might have been. You can watch Parinda on Amazon Prime Video. Happy watching. Bye-bye. I'll see you next time very, very soon.